Indians from the Halk-Kamamono tribe of the Bear clan came to the Czech Republic at the invitation of Michal, Kubasa and Zdeněk to share with us their knowledge of the life balance of the medicine circle. Around Sixbears Alec and Delbert Davis, who are spiritual leaders of the tribe, accepted the invitation. In addition to teaching, they performed several ceremonies, such as the Native American sweat lodge and the subsequent gathering and sharing in the circle. I had the opportunity to participate in both of these rituals, and it was an amazing experience. I appreciate that we were able to arrange a filming session in which the guests talked about their tribe's teachings and why they travel around the world. Their native original language doesn't have a fixed structure like English or Czech. Their native language and way of looking at the world are moving images that change according to feelings and other contexts. It is a floating language that comes from the heart. Now you have the opportunity to hear how they view today's world, the historical story of Native American tribes in the United States, and how they perceive our country, Czech Republic. It was a powerful encounter for me, full of interesting experiences and an inspiring view of the world. I believe that you will find similar inspiration in this interview. Enjoy. Around Sixbears and Delbert, now my guests in my talk show, I thank you very much that you accept my invitation. I'm happy that you are here. I have spent 1.5 days, just quite a short time with you, but the experience was very strong. And I think that there is several points, several topics that should be very useful for many people who are living in Europe. So I think there are two very basic topics that we can touch and we can talk about. And these are just rituals that you have organized and that you prove now in Czech Republic in the past weekend. One is a sweat lodge and one is circle of sharing. What is better to start with? Should we start with a circle of sharing or with the principle of sweat?
Okay. Yeah.
Circle of sharing. I'm sure that this is the way how we all should learn how to communicate with each other, because then it opens the way to find the common sense, the common result. So how does it work? Please tell me.
Well, I think, first of all, we always say, Manahu Hili Hili, and that's honoring the 4 nations that we're related into in Central California, up in the Sierras. So first of all, it's honoring where we're at and who we are. I am Hokomomono of the Bear Clan. My people call me Nabihi Pihabich, Sixbears, given to me by my mother. And what we talk about is the way of life, and I don't know anything else. This is how I was raised up, teaching from my grandfathers and mainly aunts, and then uncles that kept our culture going, and so it's mainly earth-based, and mainly earthly, and so I think where we begin is how we lived. It's way of life.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
it's a way of life, and I don't know of any other way. And the teaching from our grandfathers was, we can't change the past. We learn from the past. So what we can't change, we try to change today and tomorrow. And it basically goes, the past is the past. We change today and tomorrow and the future, not only for ourselves, but for our children. It's hope. So I think we have 3 different types of sweat lodges. There's just not one specific way of doing the sweat lodge. And the sweat lodge that we use now, and sweat lodge that everybody's used to, is the plains. The sweat lodge we know is the plains. It comes from the plains. And so that kind of brought our people back and to, the ceremonies. So when we go back to our own areas, and I can only talk about my area, no one else's, And we have our own sweat lodges. They're underground with Mother Earth. But they say, our elders say, well, build the plains sweat lodge because it brought our people back. So we build that too, and then we build our own sweat lodges that are underground where we sweat with Mother Earth. So we have both in our gathering times. So we try to teach both ways to bring back not only, our people, but the dreams of our aunties. Years ago, over 40 some years ago, the aunties wanted to bring back the traditional way back in the traditional area where our executive order was issued by President Theodore Roosevelt in the I think it was late 1800s and 1900s, and to teach in the area where they first started before, the churches moved out of there into where we're into the reservation areas now. So it was mainly the dreams of our aunties to bring back the old ways. And what they said was that you had to open the 4 doors to the people. In order to bring your own people back, you have to bring the other people back so that way we can start sharing, not teaching, sharing. And when you open the 4 doors or the 4 directions, it's opening the 4 doors to the Creator's creation. We're all the Creator's creation. There's only one Creator. We pray to Him in different ways, different churches, different languages. And so that's why it's important to me to try to teach my own way, not someone else's. We go out to see what the left hand's doing. We go out to see what the right hand's doing and saying, so that we can also teach ourselves. And what I'm sharing with the people here is that it's different place, different people, different land, same problem. There's a lot of similarities. It's unbelievable of the similarities of what we go through, not only here in Czech, but in the United States and other countries too. And that's what's so unique about sharing our culture and our tradition. A lot of things were taken from us, no matter where we go. No matter where we go, what country we're in, there's something taken from, the traditional people of that land or the indigenous people of that land that are descended from those different tribes or cultures, whatever you may call it. In our area, it's descended from our families and our people that are within those fairly recognized tribes or non-fairly recognized tribes in the rural areas. So what's sad about it is that we have to always prove who we are. You say you're Indian, prove it.
No.
So we have to have documentation, and through the government, that to tell us that we are Indian, even though we know we're Indian. I'm full-blooded Mono, but I still have to prove that I'm Indian. And sad thing about it, we had to prove it to our own tribes and nations sometimes. But I don't need that. I don't need those titles. I know who I am. They know who I am. So I think that's pride. I think that's respect. And I think that's honorable. And we talked about that earlier about tradition. What's tradition? I think tradition is how you live and what you generate with your emotions, your everyday life, respect for yourself, your family, friends, and loved ones. Those are the 3. We were taught the 3 entities of life. This shell that we see here is just shell. And the 3 entities of life is the mind, the heart, and the inner spirit. And we believe in afterlife. So that's why there's no memory of the past life, because the mind, the heart, and the body goes back to Mother. The only part of this life that travels to the Creator is the spirit. And the spirit lives around the belly button because that's where we're last connected to our Mother. So that's the only part of this life travels to the spirit world. The mind and the heart and the body goes back with Mother. So the beginning of our prayers is Tuabi o Atum, for we are children of the mountains. We believe we came from the mountain. So that's why we go back to Mother. That's where we came from. So my elders had a joke about that. There's all Western medicine said, that man involved from apes. And my great-grandpa said, oh, that's good, then we got cousins, because we believe we came from the mountain, and we go back to the mountain. So that's part of that, where the beginning of our sweat lodge, or we never called it sweat lodge when we were younger, we called it place of prayer. It was a place of prayer. I didn't hear the term sweat lodge till way later in my later years. But when I was growing up, it was a place of prayer. And the sweat lodge represents Mother Earth. It's built in like Mother Earth. It's referred to as the mother's womb. It's referred to as a place of prayer, and now a sweat lodge. So those are all different terminologies of a sacred place. It's our church. It's our place of prayer. It's just another way of praying to the Creator. There's many different types of denominations and religions. They all have different language, different ways to pray for prayer. This is our way. This is our way that we pray to the Creator. And we were told that every one of us came to this world in the same way. No matter what we believe in, what religion that we believe in, what color we are, we all came to this world the same way. We just don't teach it that way, and we don't remember it. And it's called 9 months in our mother's womb. That's how we got here. Every one of us. I don't care who you are, where you're from. That's how we got here on this earth. It's through the mother's womb. And that sweat lodge is a similarity to that mother's womb when we were 9 months in there, the protection, water, darkness, and care, and growing into whatever we were born into, a male or a female. The stories from our ancestors was that one time we were neither. We were neither male or female. And then once they start forming in the mother's womb, then you start forming into whether you're female or born a male. And so that took that 9 month cycle of being born. And then they said there was a third entity of that growth where the female and the male egg didn't separate. And so they were born with both, but society had given them that I don't know what word I'm looking for without being, judged or something. But their eggs didn't separate, so they were born male and female. And society had given them ugly names. There are different names that give them to gay, or that's about the safest word I could use at this time. But you have the idea. There's other names they gave those eggs didn't separate. But one of our prophecies was that the world will have to turn to those three eggs because they've learned to live and survive in a world of separation. And that was prophesied, hundreds of years ago by our elders. And you can see the change in the world now where, that third society is pretty open up now, and it's come out of a closet. So that's just part of, what we were told when we were kids. Back then we didn't know, until we see it now, the change.
That's right.
Well, maybe let my brother kind of pick up over a little bit where we're at. And
first of all, to honor this meeting, I want you to hear how I introduce myself to the lodge and to my people in ceremony, and that's through the whistle. We're not only making that noise with this bone from the wing of the hawk or an eagle, or calling them and their spirits in as well, and just stop from the sound. Also, with a song I'll show shortly, this is an eagle song. Again, is to acknowledge what we're about to do, the spirituality and the deepness and the commitment that the people came to our ceremonies for, and such as we saw this weekend with the people putting up the new lodge. So I will sing just a short version of the song, then I'll get into the narration. Mahala, 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 Aman, Mahala, 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 Aman. Oh, all those words are strings, a simple verse to invite a big entity into our life is hawk or eagle, me and you. So the understanding that when we go into the ceremony, they're only a portion of it. But the hawk and eagle represent a lot of things. They bring a lot of spirits with them. Most of all, I think the dimensions of our lodges, our talking circles, the circle represents something never-ending.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in Western European life, they see things going from beginning to end, linear. There's a beginning and an end. Constantly, I hear the word resolve. With us, there's no resolve. It continues because, as my brother said, we believe in afterlife. It's continuous. There's no end to it. So that's why when I speak of our elders or anybody that passes, I speak them in the present tense. Some people say they were a good person. No, they still are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This physical body in this shell is no longer here to function, but they still are that same person. That way, to me, I remember them more strongly. They're still here because I still talk to my parents, my brothers, and my sisters that have passed. They're here. I don't, again, come to the word resolve, end. So, and then again, with our, I believe in our lodges that they're not a definition. We can only use the word lodge or ceremony so others that don't live our lifestyle can identify with it. Like some like to call it a religion. It's not a religion. It's just a common day way of life. We have no set dates or times for a ceremony. They come as needed. Mm. If somebody says, I need a ceremony, then we say, come, we'll do a ceremony. Unlike other churches of the Western religions or cultures, they'll say, Sunday, Protestants, Catholics, and Catholicism, they go to church Sunday, one day a week. Mm-hmm. And same with Judaism. They go to temple Friday, one day a week. We go as needed. If it's one day a week, 2 or 3 a week, as my brother and his wife, they go to ceremony quite often as they feel they need it. Sometimes for health reasons, sometimes for they don't feel good, or maybe they're praying for somebody, or maybe somebody called them. So our ceremonies are not static. They're not one time a week. They're as we need it. And the reason why we have to call them ceremonies because people would understand to relate. That's like the definition ended. I don't call myself Indian because that's the definition given to me that, I really don't recognize. But again, so our government and society understands how we are separate from the rest of the society that makes up our country now, our lands. Before there were states and boundaries and a government, that's the only way they can see us. So I tell my people that we are not a definition. Mm-hmm. If you have a name, my name is Wosei. So I'll say Wosei, and I'll say my Christian name is Delbert. Mm-hmm. That is not my real name. Wosei is my name. That's what my parents gave me. So I try to make that distinction, let people know that, we're not a definition. We're only by definition by government terms,
Okay.
And again, this is to express when we visit countries such as the Czech Republic that, we go through the same circumstances as yourself through being invaded. You know, yeah. Fortunately, as we saw today in this walk, you have many monuments here. Yet our monuments were destroyed. Cities were built on our monuments, so it's very hard to find our monuments. So again, this is a very important part of all our cultures: is language and the monuments.
No.
Our monuments were pictographs and pectographs, paintings and sketching scrapes in the rock, in the sand, you know. Those things would be for eternity if they were destroyed. So those things were destroyed. So unfortunately, when they go, also our language, because now we can't point that out to anybody. It's not there. And when you can't point something out, then you lose the word for it. And after a while, it's forgotten. So those things are very significant, you know. And again, and also I like to demonstrate to especially our young people, we have never sought asylum in another country, even though through all periods of time, it was pronounced that they wanted to eliminate us, to no longer exist. But we never sought asylum in Europe, another country, any place else. So that, as well, again, I reflect back to what in our conversations today with Czech people here, you stayed. That's why they call you lions. They beard you. That's why with us, you know, they may have shortened our numbers, but our strength is still there. They may have they've taken our ceremonies, but they were still there. They were just minimal. And now they're starting to grow back through what we're doing. And it's there. As we always say, the lodge, you know, we're not waiting on the lodge. The lodge is waiting on us. The ceremony's there. You know, even though it's physically not there, it's still there. And it's hard for people to get that concept because we don't use our senses anymore. We only use either eye or hearing, visual and hearing. We don't understand the touch, the feel, the sensitivity of it. And that's what's missing in our lives. And I think that was a lot of people this weekend experienced it, you know, in the darkness, once that door is closed. You use all your senses, the smell, the feel, the heat from the rocks, hear the songs, touching, you feel the perspiration. You know, each time we perspire onto that ground, that's our DNA going into that ground. So now wherever we held ceremony, anytime we come here or any place else, we're leaving our water. And the same amount of water in the ocean is the same amount of water in our bodies, percentage-wise. There's a reason for that. You know, water is very significant, important to us. You know, what? It moves the tides. If water could be moved by that, then why can't the water within our bodies move our spirit? So that we sort of try to relate that to people. Don't disenfranchise one from the other. We're all tied in. Then we go back to the circle, as I said. It's never ending.
You're all right.
Never a beginning and an end. And what's in the lodge? The elements, the rocks or the mountains, the dirt we sit on. That's Mother Earth. That's Turtle Island. The water, that's the ocean. That's the life. That's the playa. That keeps us alive. Without water, we would not exist. And what are the two things in life when we're born that we naturally craved? Milk and water. Everything else is learned. Our thoughts, our opinions, our tastes are all learned except for milk and water. That's what we naturally, when we're born as a child, we accept. Everything else is learned.
You're right.
So that, again, that's the significance of water. You know, there's a reason why Creator did this, you know, for us. As we all know, we can exist longer times and distances without food, but we can't exist without water. And unfortunately, globally, that's what's happening. Water is becoming the new gold, the new oil, So that's why, again, I'm jumping back and forth, but that's why environmentally, we look to safeguard our trees, our forests, our reservoirs. I wish there weren't reservoirs, because reservoirs are things that have taken a food source from us as well. They dried up the rivers. You create a dam, the water no longer flows. The salmon can't swim up the river no more. The trout are no longer there because they can't breathe, the lack of water.
Yeah.
So, again, there must be some way technology and us can coexist. We coexist with the rattlesnake.
Mm-hmm.
We coexist with predators. Why can't we coexist with something? Why do we feel we have to dominate it? The water, the forest, all these things. It's not for us to dominate. And that's why I think at times we have these cyclic cycles of hurricanes, fires, drought.
Mm-hmm.
And what do all those lead to? Hunger. Again, it sort of goes back to what we addressed this weekend about the medicine wheel. That's all of us in that medicine wheel. That medicine wheel, again, it's not an object, something to be visually seen and diagnosed. It's a way of life. The only reason those colors are in there so we can acknowledge all aspects here on Turtle Island, Mother Earth.
Right.
We live on the medicine wheel. Is not the earth round?
Mm-hmm.
And without realizing, we live in a medicine wheel. So one asks, what's the medicine wheel? You're in it. You're living in it. You just don't realize it. It's so big in the scope of it, you can't visualize it. Again, we're visual people. I've got to see it, But we live in that medicine wheel. That's why we acknowledge that all the world being in that vision, in that medicine wheel, we acknowledge the direction to the east first in the morning, reflecting the color red as it comes up. And the animal that we associate with is the eagle and the hawk, the strength of the new day. Give you that hope for the new day. Again, that's the new day. And then to the west, $5 is the direction of strength. The bear, strength, strong. And then that reflects our black brothers and sisters. As the east with the red color reflects ourselves, they call us redskins, red people. That's our people, our brothers and sisters. Then to the south, the direction being yellow. Maybe the animal we associate there, like the mouse, because we think of, at least in our country, the south is usually a very warm desert climate. And you don't think anything's living out there, but pick up a rock. There's a mouse, a squirrel, living in their shadows. They know how to exist in that. So that's why I pray to that direction as the direction of life, because it's warm and there is life coming there. It brings us strength and warmth over our body.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to live? If there was no sun, we couldn't live. Why? The sun's what makes things grow. If the sun wasn't there and that life didn't come over that body from the south every year, we would have no food to eat and we would no longer be in existence. So, and then to the north, I pray to that direction for the obstacles and the cleansing and the deer, the white-tailed deer, because it lives in that cold weather. You can see the heavy coat, the pelt on that. But the obstacles I pray for that are confronting me every day, that I can negotiate, navigate around those obstacles. And I pray for cleansing because I want to cleanse my mind of any ill thoughts. Somebody may have said something to me. I don't want to be thinking ill of them and them of me. So those are the four directions. Again, there's our circle and the colors we put in there so we can associate all peoples in our world that we call Turtle Island. It's not a mystery. Mm-hmm. It's not a mystery. But as my brother said, we don't it's not a religion. It's just a way of life for us. You know, there are many instances I wake up, I feel I need to go into ceremonies. So I go, because I have a lodge on my land. So I go and I pray. Again, I say pray. For me, praying is singing songs. You know, it's not reciting something from a book or anything. That's why we say our prayers are our songs, and our songs are our prayers. You know, it all combines together to create this place, you know, that we call Earth. But that Earth, I call the medicine wheel. That's why I say some people ask what the medicine wheel. It's like you're seeking for something that doesn't exist because you're in it.
No, right?
It's hard to be in the middle of the ocean and know where the shoreline's at. But you're there. There are those shorelines, but you can't see them. So we hope by when we come here, as my brother said, we don't need to, our need is not here to change anybody's thinking, but to expose people to different experiences. Take what you need from it. Our medicine that we offer is like any medicine or any food. Too much of it will harm you. Only take what you need. I like a certain food. If I eat too much of it, it's give me a bellyache, even though I like it. I need to know how much do I need that day. And that same thing with this medicine. Take just what you need. Don't be greedy. And the same thing with our ceremonies in the lodge. We do 4 rounds. First round is for ourselves. If we don't pray for ourselves and take care of ourselves, then we can't protect others because we're struggling. Second round, friends and family. Our club ones like that. We pray for them. Hopefully our mothers, our aunties, our grandmothers, our dad, our brothers, our sisters, our niece, all those out there. We pray, we sing a song to them to honor them, to get them through that day. That third round, some people call the women or children's round. I call it the life-giving round. All things that give life to me should be honored, just not the 2-legged. We honor the 2-legged, the 4-legged, the wing, the ones that crawl, the ones that swim below the ocean. You know, we honor all of them because they give life. You know, that's how our ecosystem works. One without the other takes away from life from the other. If those animals were all in our eco, how would we eat? We had chicken for lunch. We had beef last night for dinner. I wouldn't have had those things if they weren't in our ecosystem. So we must keep that balance. Like my brother says all the time, the teeter-totter. There's always good and bad in the world. That's why when we go in the lodges, I tell people, pray for your... That's why we take these tools in there, to protect ourselves. You open that door to a big world. It's a small door to a big world when you go in there. And when you open the door, both good spirits and maybe bad spirits come in, because spirits have no boundaries. They have no time. They're just in existence. So when you say we're going to have a ceremony, they're already there. As we say if we say, oh, next month I'm going to a ceremony. That ceremony begins the moment I made my decision to go there, not the day I get there. So I prepare myself before then, and the ceremony is already begin. So that's why I know to conduct myself in the proper manner prior to then, you know. So we seem to be wanting sometimes as human beings that magic pill, either to like lose weight, get healthy. It doesn't work that way. And again, that fourth round, that's for all the people in the world. There may be somebody you never met. Even like sometimes you walk on the street, you see somebody kind of looking, without even saying words or making eye contact, you can just smile and just nod. And you may have changed their day because they may be in a place that nobody knows me. I'm in a city of maybe thousands or millions, and nobody knows me. But just that time you say, and you might have helped them, or you might even save them if they were such in a dark place. Because we work with a lot of people that are in dark places, and we try to explain to them, you are, and we're going to try to guide you out of it. But that's your choice. So, it's your choice. And but sometimes that little acknowledgement, say, how you doing today? And just keep walking. You don't ever stop for a conversation. And wow, somebody noticed me. Somebody felt what I was feeling without even having to say it in words, just with a hand gesture. It's like it's going to be all right. That's why I say, "Huniwi, tawapun punao." Don't worry about me. My world is all right. I'll turn it back to my brother again.
Yeah, songs and languages are very important to our way of lives. Songs is another form of prayer. And we all have different versions of the rounds in a lodge, but pretty similar. He had his version, and the same thing. Always the first round is for yourselves. And sometimes you need. I always share with everyone in that circle that sometimes you need your family and friends and loved ones with you to pray for yourself. And so that first round is very important. So that way, when you go into the second round, that is honoring our family, friends, and loved ones, we can take ourselves into that round also. So that way, we can pray for our family, friends, and loved ones, and vice versa to help ourselves. Because if you can't help yourself and trust yourself, then how are you going to help your family and your friends, your loved ones? That's the teaching of the lodge, the first two rounds. And I was taught that the third round was to honor all our women. Her grandfather, the Creator, had given the women the gift to give life. So we honor all the women in our lives, our grandmothers, our mothers, our aunties, our daughters, our wives, granddaughters. Even the woman that's in the line in the grocery store at your work, because they cross through your aura, they don't know, so you have to clean that. So you pray for that. And the fourth round is honoring our ancestors and our elders. And the reason why we honor our ancestors is to thank them for holding on to our ways so we can reach out and bring them back. And that's what we're doing when we sit in those circles and sing our songs and share our words and our songs. And then to our elders, to thank our elders for passing on their wisdom and their knowledge so that we can pass it on, because now we are in that elder stage. So we learn from them so that we can share our experiences in that path of red road. And the path of red road is very simple. I always share with the children, I said, I've seen very beautiful paintings of the red road. Wish I could paint like that. I've seen stories written about the red road. Wish I could write like that. But the red road is very simple. It's what's in your heart to the Creator. It's your belief. It's your trust. It's what you are. And that's what the place of prayer teaches. That's why it's called a place of prayer. And in the darkness is the protection. It takes us back to the mother's womb. We all forgot that. We all forgot how we got here. Every one of us. And that's kind of reminds us of what we are, and we honor the four directions. The reason why we honor the four directions is that's the four colors of the Creator's creation. My brother shared, in our lodges, the red faces east, where the sun comes up. And we're Bear clan. So our bear spirit is at that east door, where the color red is for the Native Americans, Hispanics, the brown skin. Then to the yellow, our bear shield, to the south, representing our Asian brothers and sisters, where our bear shield usually sits in that direction. Then go to the west door, where our female eagle staff is set as a spirit helper there, honoring the black for our black brothers and sisters. And to the north is where the buffalo came in. So we have the buffalo at the north representing the white of our white brothers and sisters. So those are the 4 colors that the Creator had created. So when you open those doors, how can you tell no one to come through that door? You can't, because we only got one Creator. So when our auntie said open those doors, those 4 doors, you're going to need all the brothers and sisters to come in to bring your own people back. Because we lost. As I said at the beginning, language and songs are the most important. Might not seem like that, but it is. Because language was almost being taken from us. Well, it was taken. That's why when I come to these countries that have their languages, I just say, we got hope. And our language was taken from us. The first things that was taken from us was our own way of life, and then language. And our country had made laws that we couldn't practice some of our ways. We have some brothers and sisters still in prison because of what we're talking about right now, because it was against the law. And some of these laws were effected not too long ago. The Indian Religious Act, 1976. Before 1976, it was against the law. After 1976, it took a while, but then we can bring back our ceremonies. And then we have the 100th reunion of the Citizenship Act. The Congress had passed a law saying that we are citizens of our own land. We were born there, but yet we had the law to say that we were citizens. So these are the things that we're trying to change with our culture, our tradition, our languages, and our songs. You can't change that. The only way you can't change the past. Mm-hmm. You can change today, tomorrow, and the future. And you can't hold grudges. Grudges not going to get anything done. So we were taught, to always look forward. And that's why we brought those ceremonies. That's why it was so important that the auntie said, start bringing back and go back to the original lands where we lived before we became, had to have the title of fairly recognized or non-fairly recognized. And so that's where we went. We have 2 gatherings a year, March and October. And those are to honor some of the solstice, the moon and the sun. And then 2 of the bear, we're Bear Clan. So in the March is spring, so we wake the bears up. In October, we're going to put our bears to sleep because we're getting ready for hibernation, the winter. So we're honoring 2 seasons right there, honoring 2 seasons, and not only honoring the 2 seasons at the time, but there's 2 other seasons that also is the summer. There's fall, spring, summer, and winter. There's 4 directions: east, south, north, and west. There's 4 colors. We had just mentioned red, yellow, black, and white. And then there's the 4 seasons. Well, so you have 4 seasons, 4 directions, 4 colors, and then our spirit helpers. So those are all the teaching of the lodges to try to honor every life and the way of life. My grandfather, he knew no English. English was secondary when I was growing up. So it was difficult for me when they had passed a law that we had to go to school. And not pointing no fingers or not, but we used to get whipped for speaking our language. And so I tried to hold on as long as I could. And it was the system worked because a lot of our language was taken from us, but I wouldn't allow it to be taken from me. And only you can allow it to be taken from you. I just wouldn't do that. So I forced myself to learn English and try to keep my own language too. And so usually what I told myself was, Grandfather, give me the strength so that, I can fight my own enemies myself. Trust my words. For there are many of us yet in the earthly way and in the spirit world. Guide me to keep my strength. Yo huachiki yo kimi o kata yo. You know we he shi yo kimi o kata yo. Yo mokotso yo pahabich kimi yo kata yo. Yo no he why Yo chipa yo no Hawaii yo known. I asked my grandfathers and my grandmothers to give me that strength, so I can maybe learn the other language too and keep my own language. I asked the spirit of the mountain lion to be the cunningness of the mountain lion. Come here and help me. Come here and help me to learn this language too. The strength of the ancient bears, the strength of the bear, to give me that knowledge and wisdom. All the winged ones in the sky, as we come together down here on Mother Earth to pray to you, Creator. Give me that strength so I can go on and teach the best way that I can, that the elders had passed on to us. To keep our ceremonies going, to keep them strong and pure, not to teach but to share. We don't come here to change anyone's way. We come here to share, to make our own way stronger. We don't come here to criticize or point at different ways of religion or denomination, different denominations throughout the world. Because you have many churches, grandfather. You have many languages, grandfather. You have many different ways that your people pray to you. So humble myself so I can learn those ways and share those ways. So we can be one again, grandfather. The dreamers of my land had brought in a logo. And it's in a teardrop. It's in a teardrop in the four directions of the four colors of Mother Earth that you have created, grandfather. In the directions that we talked about. But nothing touches. Why? Why does nothing touch? Because man chooses to separate by color. How sad, my grandmother said. How sad that man separates by color, and she cries. She cries. My great-grandfather says, well, maybe I'll see it in my time that the people come together. Then my grandfather says, well, maybe I'll see it in my time to where the people come together. Then my father said, well, maybe I'll see it in my time. Well, now I'm saying it. Maybe I'll see it in my time. I haven't seen it yet. And the teardrops of that four directions is the Creator's tears. He cries that men separate by color. One Creator, four separations by men. Not way of life, not religion, not grandfather the Creator, but man. So who do we have to change? Man. So we have to go out and talk and share your way. Not point, not criticize, but only speak what's in your heart. That's the only way you're going to change anything. And the reason why I close my eyes so I can see my ancestors with me, so that way I can guide my word the best way that I can to not embarrass them or not to change, but to keep the teaching of our people. We are gentle people. We've learned to survive. So we want to generate that. So one of our songs, they said that the people need healing. We go to the lodges, and the lodges said the people need healing. So we gather all the people up throughout the world, all colors, our elders. We ask all the warriors of the pillar of the mountain come together and start helping gather our people so we can go and pray to the top of the mountain, ask for guidance and how we can bring our people back together. We go to the Creator, our spirit helpers, our ancestors, the teaching of our ancestors. We gather our people, our children, our elders, and all our people. And as we're moving to the top of that mountain, getting all our people that we're gathering offerings, we're going to make offering on top of that mountain for our prayers. And so all our people takes months and years maybe to get up to the top of the mountain together, all our people. Because we don't know how to do that, so we depend on our warriors. And the warriors are our leaders. There's another different form of warriors now. It's our leaders. It's our elders. It's our people that care. Those are our new warriors. So we gather our people, go to that mountain. And once we get all our people up on top of that mountain and all the offerings that we think we need for that direction that we need from the Creator. So we turn to our spirit helpers to take our prayers to the Creator. So we ask the eagle, because the eagle is the only bird that can fly into the universe. So we give that question to the eagle to take to the Creator. So as the eagle takes off, everybody's still trying to get everybody on top of that mountain, the people and our elders and ancestors and warriors, that all colors to get top of that mountain while that eagle's flying as far as it could. And it'll go as far as it can into the universe, and it gives that message to the spirit eagle. So the spirit eagle holds that messages to take to the Creator. And once it gets to the Creator, and he goes, without saying a word, gives it back to the spirit eagle. So the spirit eagle can bring it back to the people, and the spirit eagle comes back as far as it can come also. And it can't enter into this world neither, because it's not in this world. So it gives it back to the earthly eagle. And the earthly eagle brings it back to the people. And when it touches Mother Earth, it turns into the bear. And the bear is the one that guides us, shows us what to eat, what not to eat, and is going to share the message from the Creator. So in the spirit world, we are taught to the bear and the eagle, same, because of the requests and the messages. So the bear and the eagle, same. So that is one of our strongest symbols that we pray to, is the bear and the eagle in that sacred lodge, because of the message it brought from the Creator. And as all the people give the offering and come together in one unit, we're one unit now. We're finally one unit on top of that mountain as the Creator had created us. These are the stories and the songs that was given to us by our ancestors to pass on, so that maybe one of these days that teardrop will come together. On top of that mountain, we are together. In our prayers, and we are together. But we're not. So what the bear told to the people before they go their own way, and hopefully that this message goes with them, he says, this is what the Creator said. After I have taught you what to eat, what not to eat, and what directions to go on, he says, listen to the wind. Anything that needs water, because water is spirit. Anything that needs water has a spirit. So everyone in this room, think about all the things that need water. Anything that you can think of, tree, plant, grass. If it needs water, it has a spirit. We need water. We have a spirit. It's one of the 4 elements of life. That tree has a spirit. So the Creator said, listen to the wind, because wind, air, is another element of life. Wind is air, fire, water, Mother Earth, the 4 elements of life. You listen to the wind that goes to the pine needles of the tree. He'll bring you a song, and then that song will guide the healing that you need. But you have to have your heart open. You have to have the 3 elements of life within this shell: the mind, the heart, and the inner spirit, in order to hear the Creator's message. So they said, listen to the wind. He says, sing it 4 times to honor my creation. And then you sing it the 5th time for Mother Earth to hold my creation. Then you say it the 6th time to honor the 2 worlds. Then you sing it the 7th time to honor the Creator of all lives. That's what the wind will give you, and it's that simple. And we as men cannot follow it because we don't believe that the tree has spirit, but it needs water, so it has spirit. So that's why we go into that sweat lodge to honor not only the 4 directions of Mother Earth, the 4 colors of the Creator's creation, but to always ask for those prayers. Ask for that message once again every time that we sing, because every time we sing, the breath is water, it's moisture. So when we sit in that sweat lodge and the water comes from our body, what a beautiful gift you're giving back to Mother. It's the gift of life. The life that she gave you, you're giving back to her with your prayers, your songs. It's like recycling life. That's why the lodge is referred to as a mother's womb, because that's the environment that we all came from. We just forgot. We forgot that protection from our mother. We forgot those songs and those prayers as our mothers was carrying us for 9 months and feeding us, watching over us. No matter what color, in that mother's womb, there was no color. We were one because we were from the Creator. And when we was born, then we were born male or female or the color of our mother or our father. But one Creator. And it saddens me too that man separates by color. So I try to travel all over that I can to share that, hey, we are one. We are one people when we're in a circle. We're one nation when we're in a circle and we pray to the Creator. That's how important it is to me. They didn't take everything from me. I didn't allow them to. So what I have, I'm trying to share. The teachings of my grandfathers and my grandmothers. The songs from our own land. My grandpa used to sit on the west door on a little log and look to the east where the sun comes up. And he'd sing to that sun when it comes up, honoring the new day. And he'd wait patiently as it started to get a little lighter and lighter and wait for the tip of that sun hit over that mountain. Yotobi Tum, to honor the children of the mountains. Because that's where we came from, our belief. And he'd wait patiently. That's what we don't have anymore neither, is patience. We have to reteach ourselves patience. That was the beginning of the new day. Then at the end of the day, you would face east and sing the same song to say, thank you for the day you had given me. Then he would turn to the west, where the sun goes down. Oh, hey, 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 yo, 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 no, yo, 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 no, yo, 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 no, hey, 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 honoring the days of life, the life that the Creator had given him. So that way, whatever he learned in that day, he can wait for the next day to come up to teach again, to honoring his life that the Creator had given us. So that's what I do too when I sing my songs, to say thank you for the life that I have today, and all the knowledge and the wisdom that you have shared with me to send me to the people in different directions of Mother Earth, to share my songs, to share my way, and to say it in the best way that I can. Because I have difficulty still speaking English. So sometimes I can't write it because I don't know how to write it yet. And so 75 years later, I still have difficulties of writing some of the English words. But I've gotten by pretty good. So every morning, I too pray like my grandfather, say thank you for the life you have given me. And I'm 3/4 of my life, and I've had good ones, I said. I have good ones, grandfather. I sit on the same rock that you sit on, because it's a spiritual rock. And when those old ones come into that sweat lodge, they've been on Mother Earth hundreds or thousands of years. What better spirit helpers to bring into that lodge? Set in the middle of that lodge, the heart of the turtle. The lodge is referred to as the turtle, as for Turtle Island. The center of that, where you put the pit, where we put the rocks, is the heart of the turtle, because the heart lives after it dies. So that heart is taken out of that turtle and put on the front and becomes the head of the turtle, where the people can set their offering. They don't have to be in that lodge to pray. They don't have to be in that lodge to get healing. They can put whatever they want on the head of the turtle. That was the heart of the turtle. And everything faces east, giving the beginning of the day. And the fire is one of the elements. So we ask all the other entities of life to help that fire, the prayers of the firemen, the wood spirit, to bring that fire into the lodge, because that fire is too strong for us out there. So we ask those old ones, bring that fire spirit in, so we can pray, so we can start the purification ceremony. Because when you sweat, that's purification. The old water's coming out. The old water's coming out of your body. You're giving back to Mother. You're giving back to Mother to say thank you for the life you have given me. So the water's brought into the lodge, so it can be poured over the rocks. And only then the water gives life to fire, and that water turns that fire into steam, and then that steam comes to our body. Then only then can finally introduce ourselves to fire. And it takes water to make the steam so we can introduce ourselves to fire, to open our pores up, so the purification ceremony can start, so we can pray and sing, honor Honor all our brothers and sisters in that circle, all our brothers and sisters in the four directions of Mother Earth, the creation of the grandfather, the creator, God, Buddha, whatever name you give him, only one creator. So that's why I always say, you pray in your own way. You pray in your own language. It's more powerful, more pure, more identifying for your people. Wherever you're at, whatever direction you're at, whatever nation you're at, whatever culture that you have. Pray in your own language, you have it. Grandfather hears all languages. Even if you forgot some of your language and here and there broken, he'll listen to it. That's why we say, we are one people, one nation. No, we are many. Why are we separated? Why are we separated? That's the teaching of that sweat lodge. It's not only a place where I go pray, it's my counselor. It's my way of life. It's my way of contacting with my ancestors. It's a way to remember my mom, my dad, my brothers, my loved ones that went to the spirit world. And it's a place where I still speak my language, where I know my ancestors are listening to me. It's more pure for me in there. I don't have anybody on the outside saying you're not doing it right, or you're not saying it right, or you shouldn't talk that no more. In that lodge, while I'm in that turtle, in that mother's womb, in that Creator's channel, in that Creator's way, I can be me. I can share in my heart, in my mind, my three entities of life, mind, heart, and inner spirit of the shell. I'm one nation. And my grandfather said, we all look to the sky up there, and look at the universe, it's beautiful, all the stars. He goes, why are we looking up there? It's right here. We are star people. Modern science had proven that every mineral in the universe is here. We are star people. We are star people. We're made of every mineral in the universe. And that's what that lodge represents. It represents that life, that channel, that beginning, that hope. We sing our songs. This is another form of prayer. It's trust. It's belief. It's everything that you want it to be if you believe it, no matter what your denomination is. We just forgot. That's why it's so powerful for me. That's why it's special for me when I hear another language. It's special for me when I see people hold on to their own culture, their own tradition, their own ways. I've seen some of the oldest building here in Czech today. That's pride. That's respect. That's honor. You got something that says, hey, my people's been here and we're holding on to it. They're not tearing that down. That's sovereignty. If you get your people to come together and protect that building, that's sovereignty. That can't be moved. That's who you are. That's what we want to be, Yeah, they say we got sovereign rights, on a reservation, but do we really? To me, reservations was what I used earlier, the word I used, a reservation, a controlled environment.
Right.
It's a controlled environment, really. That's all it was, to keep an eye on us. And the tears, the trail, the stories you've heard is all part of that. They were moving us around. We're moved all over. We were moved in areas that we didn't grow up in because they didn't want us in the areas we grew up in because we knew it too well. So they moved us around away from our original place where we lived and grew up. So they put us in areas where we didn't know. Some of the mountain people were sitting in the desert. Some of the desert people were sitting in the mountains, couldn't deal with the snow. What they were trying to do is wipe us out, really. But we survived. We have a joke, me and my brother. I went to the university in Berkeley to retrieve some of the remains from the university because they were testing it to find out where we come from, what we eat, and they had to grind almost 3/4 of the body, in order to have that research. So I said, if you want to know where we eat, what we wore, and who we are, ask us. I said, we're still here. Just ask us. Give our elders back so we can rebury them, have a ceremony. Every university in the United States has remains, not only of Native Americans, of all over the world. You'd be surprised the bodies universities are researching and cut up the bones and everything. Well, we have a little joke. You got my brother graduated from Berkeley University. Well, I got escorted over to Berkeley University. So we have something in common. We went to the same school, but not for the same reason. So you have to have humor.
Yep.
You know, and I always teach that laughter is healing, because if you laugh, you move 1,000 muscles in your body. So imagine if you have a gut laugh. We have a lot of muscles in our body. So the Creator has given each one of us some form of healing. If you cut yourself, be patient enough, you can see your body close up. That's another form of healing. And there's other forms too, but we forgot. How do you think our ancestors took care of their people? They had roots and different types of plants for healing, take care of them. So doctoring has been going on for a long time. And one of the sources of taking care of people was the ceremonies.
Okay.
Ceremonies in there.
Right.
And so songs are more important, I think, than talking about it. That's why we don't have scheduled ceremony. If people need it, they'll come to my house and have some problems. We'll light the rocks.
Thank you very much for all. That's great. Please, may I have just a short last question? Please, can you tell me only the rules that have to be kept in a circle? The rules for speaking person. How should I talk? What should I bear in my mind? Just only the rules, if you would be so kind and can tell me.
Yeah, I don't think we have rules. The protocol is just respect each other.
I think the rule with each individual in ourselves, I don't know if you have rules how you conduct yourself in life in a daily basis to guide you through certain instances that you may want to stray away, do something good, do something bad. My 4 rules is to keep me to help me conduct my life in a good way each day. My first rule, all life is sacred. That's whether animal or human. Number 2, there's only one creator, like we have addressed already. Wears many hats, many skin colors, speaks many languages. Rule number 3, faith. Believe in something or you'll fall for anything. Believe in something. And the final one, which is to me the one that generates the most energy, hope. Hope is the water of life. Without hope, why get out of bed? Why even do this? If not to give information. That is the water of life. And then what my brother here addressed earlier, sometimes we've got to put them in terms again, by definition, that people understand. But he was speaking to are the properties of matter: solid, liquid, gas. What's the solid? Mountain and earth. What's the liquid? Water. What's the gas? The wind.
Okay.
And then that's why when I speak to politicians or people, educated people, I ask them, what are your rules in life? I want to know what guides you on a daily basis, especially politicians running for office. What are your rules in life? And none of them they never thought about it. I said, then think about it, then I'll think about voting for you.
Okay.
Because a lot of times if they don't, I refer to all the treaties that have been created for us in our country, they've been broken. So that's why I tell them, I ask them, you know what? We know what you look like when you're lying. We don't know what you look like when you're telling the truth because we haven't seen it yet. And we have.
Okay.
Because
So that's what we're looking at.
They lie to you. So we know what you look like when you're lying. Show us your face when you're speaking truthfully to me.
Okay.
And usually they want to divert their eyes because they know I'm right.
And a rule is another form of separation, You make a rule, it's either to protect something or you don't just do you have a rule to turn on that camera or turn off the camera?
What I had in my mind, it was the rule that when I speak, I don't judge others. I don't say what they should do. I talk about myself. And I talk about my life, about my stories and my experience.
This is the old. Should be pretty happy, friends. Can we take that out?
you've got your guidance right there.
How can we reach? You know, we're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people here. How can we reach other people?
And that's what hopefully with this medium here, you could do. Really.
That's why
This medium here.
That's the goal. And if we don't get out and do what we do or talk like we're talking right now, that's not going to get out. And we have to make some changes someplace and start trusting each other. Trust is a big thing in the world. You know, just because they don't know you or by your color of your skin.
Well, but the trust was lost a long time ago through the integrity and the coolness of the dominant cultures. How do we trust them again? Like again, like I said, we know what you look like when you're lying, but we don't know when that comes over time, you know. But that means consistency. I call it persona consistency. Be the same person now as you will be later and in the future. The consistency that will bring back to reconciliation where we can believe in what people are telling us, you know, that their thoughts and their feelings in the heart. But could you imagine what the dictionary looked like 5,000 years ago, or whatever the first year? Probably was about this big, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's like this, and it's even bigger on the internet, and we still can't communicate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We make it more laws, more rules, more words, and we still can't communicate. You described a very basic, simple, how you conduct yourself in the circle. You know what's right and wrong. That's very simple. Simple rules are the hardest rules to live by. If it's wrong, you don't do it or say it. If it's right, you do it and help somebody. Mm-hmm. That's so simple. But we want to have these little adjectives and things that are at the end of it. Oh, I can do this if or but. No, it's real simple, right and wrong. How come we can't live by simple rules? So simple. You know,
That's cool. I like you.
Yeah, we shared the last 3 or 4 days. There's nothing wrong with simple. We just overlook it.
It was very simple, and I bear something with me.
Yeah. Even patience, you know, or another one was common sense. What happened to common sense? Well, I got the best answer that I ever received from a 5-year-old child. Go ahead. And I've asked that, you know, I've been asked questions and I've asked adults, you know, and I've gotten all kinds of answers, but it really didn't make any sense. But a 5-year-old child told me one time, she goes, Grandpa, I know what happened to common. And this is a proof that our children are listening. We just think our children aren't, but they are. So we have to be careful how we say it, when we say it, and what we say. Because our children are watching, even though they're running around playing, they're listening. Right. And here's an example. I have never asked her that. She just heard me ask other people, you know, where's common sense? Anybody know what happened to common sense? Because we don't use it anymore. Blah, 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 blah is going on. And just right out of the blue, she goes, Grandpa, I know where common sense went. I go, where'd it go? She goes, somebody opened the window, kicked it out, and closed the window. And she walked away. So I went home and opened all the windows.
That's cool.
Or simple.
Thank you, Evan.
A 5-year-old child.
simplest rules. Real simple, right or wrong.
Real simple. Nothing wrong or simple.
Does it cause pain? Then don't do it. If it brings happiness, say it or help. Real simple. But we can't seem to get that through because we don't trust each other.
Yeah.
And we all have our personal space. I get within, maybe I'm good speaking with you 5 feet away or 10 feet, but when I start getting within that 3 foot, then we get defensive and we're on guard, you know, because of that trust, you know.
And they're period, children period. You know, they get
that's right.
You get that straight arrow question or answer, you know. And another example is that, you know, I had another young girl. Oh, she was about 5-6 years old, and she goes, "How hard is it? How hard is it to be Indian?" I've never been asked that question before. It made me think a little bit. I've never been asked by an adult or anybody, you know. I just know I'm Indian, so I thought my grandfather would say, if a child asks you a question, try to answer it. If you can't answer it, trying to find someone to answer. Never leave that child without an answer, some kind of answer. So I've always tried so hard to answer that question.
So how did you answer that question?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, so I told her, I said, I think the hardest for me is interpreting my language to you so you know what I'm saying. Because our language is feelings. They're not words. The English language is words. There's no feelings in them. There's no feelings. You can describe the feelings, but there's no feelings. Our language is feelings. It's a way of life. It's the land, So one word, one feeling may not be the same tomorrow, may sound the same, but it don't feel the same. So that's hard to interpret or to relate to a child that's trying to learn our way of life. So that was one of the hardest, I think, to be Indian, is to make sure that the children know what I'm saying. And to me, the English, then it's the whole language now. English is the whole language now, And so it's still hard for me. But when I speak my language, it's so simple. Now, how am I going to relate that to that child that don't know? And that's what's hardest for me, being Indian, is to make sure that our child knows what I'm feeling. And I imagine in the language that's here in Czech, we don't know Czech. So to put their feeling to interpret for us is difficult, I bet. Because I know it's difficult for me to interpret too. So that's pride right there. That's respect. That's the way of life. No matter where you are, the language is the key. We was always tell, hold on to your language. That's the key. So that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I see here when I travel. The language is there. That's the key of your people. That represents and honors your ancestors and what they went through. That comes along to this generation and then passed on to the next generation. That's hope. That's understanding. That's balance. Any word that you want to use that's positive, that's what language represents. That's what language represents. And that is our sacred place of prayer.
And that is your circle.
And that's your
circle.
That's your medicine wheel. We are all part of that medicine wheel. Whatever knowledge and wisdom that we wish to share with each other. And the heart of that center of that medicine wheel is the Creator. So it's the Creator. Everything's the Creator in the middle, because He is the creator of all of us all. No matter what language, what symbol you use, well, you use the symbol that your people know that prays to the Creator. How they pray to the Creator. Their stories of your ancestors and your elders. That's what goes in that center. That's what's in here. That's the same center in that medicine wheel that's in here. The same center. And we battle inside. We are our worst enemy. Our heart says it's right, and the mind goes, no, I'll change it. And the mind says, I'm 75 years old. And the mind says, oh, yeah, we can run. We can beat that young guy. And the heart goes, hey, watch this. You might have a heart attack trying. And the inner spirit's going, hey, guys, we live together. The mind and the heart's battling, and the inner spirit's down there hasn't had that decision. It's waiting for it to carry the next life. And then the mind and the heart, they're going to go back with the body. So there's that separation we got within our own selves in belief and trust and life. So sometimes all of us heard that, that we are our own worst enemy. We can beat ourselves up better than anybody else.
It's a long fight.
So that's the teaching. Really, it's simple. It's simple. It's the way of life. It's your way of life. It's your way of life. It's your teaching, what you believe. That's the lodge. That's the ceremony. We all have ceremonies. We just call it different. We believe it different. We're having ceremony right now. We're sharing words. We're sharing that breath. That's another form of ceremony. Listening, watching, respecting, waiting for our turn to say something. I forgot something. So a lot of times when I do, I say, well, my brother, he'll take over. And then you'll wait. Maybe there's something else that you want to say, so you'll mention it. The cameraman said, hey, the speaker went haywire. So there's all different kinds of, there it is, right? Oh, that's ceremony. Yeah, that's the medicine wheel.
All right.
Yeah.
I will start a small step when I will go
No,
home.
no, simple.
I will open the window
Yeah.
to let enter the common sense back home.
Yeah, and you can go on and on with these topics. I mean, we can go all day long. We'll keep opening new doors and new topics and go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Why is that couch red? Well, we'll go into that too.
Yes.
You know, so you just open doors. It's just unbelievable. Life is unbelievable. Have fun with it. Have fun with it because it's a gift given to us by the Creator, and it's a very short-lived gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very short-lived gift. And we always say we're 3/4 to us.
We have different,
And I love your part of it.
stuff.
No.
We sometimes it's called cultural infrastructure. What's that? It's your language and what you're doing. Oh, but they reckon that infrastructure. If you say culture, that sounds so dry and they're lost. So you have to throw words in there, these little bullets that they can pick up on, and they'll maybe get their curiosity, and hopefully they'll sit down longer and listen.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we have to adjust, you know.
And I think that's the reason why we don't have a goodbye in our language. We don't have goodbye. We say, way I know. We'll all go in a good way, and that means we'll meet each other again.
Okay.
You know, and we sing our traveling songs. We say our traveling songs for that you get home back to your family, and and we believe that vibration of that song will get to your family, and your family knows that you're coming in a good way. We're going home tomorrow. So we've sung our songs. And we believe in the vibration of life. And now we got communication like we never had before. But we still believe in our own way. Even though we have all this modern technology, we still use and utilize the way we were taught. I haven't changed any of that. I've changed to meet, we have all the modern, tools to buy a car to drive the next part. So I tell the people now, don't be using traditional, to say that you're traditional. If you do, then you'll have to walk to that next gathering. Leave that car at home.
Yeah.
If you want to use traditional, be careful. Be careful. So use wisely what you say and just keep it simple. Nothing wrong with simple again. Okay. And then I think it's getting close to the end, so I want to sing our traveling songs so that we all go in a good way, and hopefully, the words that we shared make sense and it goes to the right place. And then that's all we can hope for. And then hopefully that we explained it in the best way that we can, because we want those simple words to get out, that medicine of trust and belief, and then the way of life, and know your own way of life. And where away, where away, where away, open now, open now, where away, where away, where away, where away, open now, open now, where away. Relations, travel in a good way.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll cut the tape. That's a wrap. You make sure to say that,